quality team members. Jake wasn't one though, because he wasn't there to hold the fort up, but it just goes to show you, there's no way I could do a fucking daily vlog and doing everything. It's consuming. One thing I don't like to do is just go, okay, yeah, we'll just go after personal trainers, and then that's it. It's I want to get granular as fuck on the avatar, so we're speaking exactly to them. So I spend a fair bit of time going through that process. But yeah, very valid point, and I like where you're thinking, because yes, we do need to be thinking about that as well moving forward. How do you build authority? Well, there's a number of different ways you can go about that, but the easiest way to build authority and have people wanting to listen to what you have to say is start saying things, and I know it sounds simple as possible as that, but start putting your flag out, start putting your message out, start putting, sound bites of content, sound bites of your opinions, your thoughts around the subjects, create small videos based around it, do your Facebook lives around it. So there's a number of different things that you can do, and when we were talking yesterday about potentially starting a podcast, it's definitely something that you could do that would definitely establish authority, because once people start listening to you and listening to your advice, then when they're ready to take the next step, or they're ready to find out more, they will just, naturally want to come to you. Once you find out what they really want and need, you can then just base little pieces of content around that. So as you're doing that, get into the mind of going, if we had to come up with, say, 20 video trainings around something that we know that our audience wants, based off all the conversations and frequently asked questions you've had over the years of being in this industry, come up with those 10, 20 topics, and then you've got the ammunition to then go and create the educational based marketing pieces around that. So how to become an authority in 1 minute and 47 seconds. I think the big thing with people when anyone's starting out, and it's always the battle of, well, no one even knows that I do this, or no one knows that I'm the expert. It's because no one knows, because you haven't told anyone, or you haven't put your message out in front of enough people to figure that out. Since I put a post up 3 days ago about the Campbell Media Group, basically just saying, yeah, it's finally here, the Campbell Media Group's here, I've had close to a dozen private Facebook messages of people going, hey, man, this is awesome, can't wait to hear more about it, send me more information. That's people coming to you. But that only happens because I've put the last several years into putting my content out there, putting my flag up, putting my hand up, letting people know what I do, doing videos. We're on, I think, episode 49. Is tomorrow 50?
Yeah.
Well, obviously. But that took you a while to go, yeah, I think 50 is after 49. Fuck, tomorrow's 50.
Oh,
we have to do something. Oh, we are. Yeah. We are sort of doing something, so that'll be cool. But that's how you become an authority, is you talk more about it. Let people know. Because then what will happen is someone will go, oh, does anyone know someone who's good at this? And they go, oh yeah, I've been hearing this person talk about it, go see them, or they'll tag you in a post. It just starts to happen. So it's not overnight you're going to become, famous in your industry. You've just got to put in the ground and pound, put in the work. It's like John Lee Dumas, right? Mate of mine has a podcast. He must be up to episode 1800 or something now, every single day, every day. So you know how long he's been doing his podcast, 1800 days. You can't catch up to that unless he stops or you pump out 5 a day and try and catch up that way. It's just, that in itself shows, we talk about becoming an authority. Holy crap. Look at Joe Rogan. He's up to 950 or something. But that's not a 30-minute, that's a 3-hour, his average show goes 2 to 3.5 hours. That is, who puts out that much content? He must be putting out the most content. He has 90 million downloads on his podcast. That is just insane. And you go, what's his genre? What's he talk about? Everything. And then that goes against all standard marketing and authority building practices, just go and put your flag up and talk about everything and anything. But I guess if we looked at it, he's talking about interesting shit that isn't talked about frequently, in everyday terms. So it's, you can always narrow it down and find that there's a niche within the niche. But my point with all of that was putting out the content. And it doesn't just mean you put out any content, because if you put out just shit content for the sake of putting out content, then it's gonna be tough, because people will be like, meh. Yesterday I was like, well, we're doing a daily vlog, and this is a bit different because this isn't just, you know, I need to be giving amazing content all day, every day through these vlogs. It's the behind the scenes, it's the real life look at what it's taking to build multiple companies. And the unfortunate thing is I can only share half of it with you. So there's so much more happening in the background as well. But yesterday was, and I was in this office for like 6 hours just on the call. And that's not a glamorous piece to put out there, but it is in the sense that it's showing you that this isn't all glitz and glamour trying to build a business. You know, I'm not on airplanes every week flying to a new beautiful place to speak for 20 minutes and then I'm back on another airplane, or I'm living the Vida Loca. There's a lot of ground and pound that needs to happen, you know. That's my word of the day, ground and pound. I've said it twice. The easiest way to handle is, hey, look, cool. What I'll do is that's outside of my scope. What I would even say is, if you can put that through in an email and send it through to Brett, that's the best thing, because we need to discuss it there and we need to have dialogue of this happening. Because now it's like, what's the steps from here? The importance of keeping a dialogue of conversations with prospects, customers, past customers is extremely important. You know, in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, I remember what that call, or I remember what that email was about. But if you haven't got it dialogued in an easy format to go back through and re-jog your memory, you're gonna be missing out on a lot of vital information. You know, every time I'm talking with a coaching client, I write notes about the call. So, you know, if 6 months down the track, I can go, yeah, we talked about this in January, remember? This is what you did here. Oh yeah, right. So it's about keeping tabs on. And at the start of doing all this, I never kept any tabs. I was like, yeah, I already know what I'm doing with my clients. I already, you know, I'm on top of it. Until something actually happened one day where there was someone said, oh no, you said this. And I was like, no, I said that. And it was just a he said, she said type scenario. And the importance of keeping dialogue is you can always go back to it. And it really falls into this theme that I'm going through at the moment and I'm preaching, is the black and white, remove the gray. You know, even if there's important sentences that someone says, write that sentence down so you can actually go back to it and go, well, this is exactly what you said, in quotation marks. So you're not trying to clutch at straws to remember what was said, because as we all know, the fish was that big, but then it kept growing, right? No, I caught a fish this big. So if it's black and white and it's there in front of you, you don't miss a beat. And if you've got multiple people working on certain projects or tasks or whatever the case, product services, then you just keep the running dialogue in the same place. So, you know, if I need to go back and I need to go, well, who was the last person that spoke to this person? You can see notes. I mean, it's like a doctor, right? You go to a doctor, they're sitting on their computer while you talk, they're writing notes. They see 20 patients a day. If they haven't seen you in 6 months, they don't know who you are. They're not gonna know what you came in for or what your past history was. And they can't also rely that you're gonna tell them that. So it's really important to gather the information up front, document it, and you can always go back. What a day, bro, what a day. What are you looking at? Sneaking up on me. I always feel like I'm being peered on. It's probably important that I see you do it. Sometimes I wonder what I'm even paying for. It's Friday tomorrow, and we are going to be hitting episode number 50. So we've got something fun that we're going to do. Stay tuned for that. And if you've not yet subscribed or hit the like button, the love button, or any other button around this video, try it out. Who knows what can happen. Thank you. Thanks for coming. As I walk off into the sun.